me, Helene. I am back with that review, finally, of 3 different yarns that I picked up at my Michael's. I'd love to know what you think of these yarns, if anyone has tried them since they came out, or since when I gave that little tour of my Michael's, since they revamped the yarn department and added some of the Joanne Big Twist in there as well. And so these two, the Soft Ombre and the Heather Bamboo, I picked up earlier this year in the spring. And then not too long after I did the tour, I picked up 2 different cakes of the Caron Macchiato. And the 2 macchiato cakes that I picked up, which I already obviously started, and this one I'm going to have to take out, but I left it in just to show you how the colors play out. And these I bought with the purpose they're going to turn into gifts. I'll tell you what that's about. Starting with the Caron Macchiato cakes. They are a big 227 grams, 8 ounces, 481 yards, 440 meters. It is classified as a number 5 bulky. I would think kind of a light, bulky, chunky type weight yarn. This colorway is called Fleeting, F-L-E-E-T-I-N-G, Fleeting. And they have 16 different colors altogether, a variety of highs and lows, from softer, more quiet colors to really vibrant neutrals, and there's even a neon color. It's so bright in the store, even more so than it shows online. This one is a much more muted on the website than it is in person. And this again is the Fleeting. So you can see the colors there, a really pretty gentle gradient, even with the brighter colors. And they are just beautifully marled, which has your base color with a different color that is wrapped around that base color, and it creates a really, really nice and interesting effect. And this is one that I started already to show you how the colors work up, and this is in the Turbo Turquoise. But as you can see, just it has a really nice color range in it, where this is almost like a mint aqua green, and then you go into a more true turquoise, and there's even going into a royal turquoisey blue in there with a real pretty plum violet color. And this is how it plays out a little bit. And this is my Dewdrop Bactus or kerchief-style scarf or shawlette. One is a more gentle color. It's a lot of lilacs going into a mauve brown. And this could be a very nice neutral and go with a lot of different things, I think, and a lot of different skin tones as well. And there's even more of a taupe color in here too. It's 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and at first, just feeling it squishy in the cakes, it felt really soft to me. But during that tour, someone commented that it was a little too woolly for them. And I am really sensitive to animal fibers. I have to be careful. And yarns may feel differently in the cake than they do when you work them up. And it can go either way. You know, sometimes it feels really soft and then it works up. It's like, oh, not quite what you thought it would be, as the yarn kind of blooms when you're working with it, which can also vary on the type of stitch, the project, and the size hook you're using. And I did notice that when I'm working with the Fleeting, that it was a little bit more woolly than I thought it would be when I worked it up. But that can also be the coloring as well. The dyes can sometimes make the yarn a little harder, and maybe that is in this case, or perhaps the stitches I used, or maybe I need to, sometimes going up a hook size might help to just loft that yarn up, make it a little bit softer, not so like dense and tight where you feel the texture as much. But I do find after working up the Turbo Turquoise that this one does feel softer to me, and I did the inside of my wrist and the side of my neck test, which are very sensitive, thinner parts of the skin on the body. So this one I think I could wear around my neck, that one not so much. So that was kind of interesting. Appears to be just one strand of yarn, single ply. Go as I untwist it a little bit. And it is a semi-roving where it goes from thick to thin. It's not, when it's spun, it's not completely even from end to end. And I really like roving for particularly certain patterns because it adds a lot of extra texture and dimension and interest to it. I find the stitch definition on this Macchiato to be quite lovely. It's there, but it's a little bit softer than a really crisp type because of the bloom you get from the wool content. And although even this is a roving, it's more, like I said, of a gentle roving because it's mostly consistent. But there are, as you can see, hopefully you can see, like this strand is just a little bit thinner. Well, a fair amount actually on this particular, but I haven't found so far that it goes to really, sometimes you get those super skinny strands that are so fragile they can break easily. And this is not that type of yarn, and it is very sturdy. It has enough drape, but enough kind of grip and bite to it at the same time. And as far as types of hooks and sizes, on this one I tried a few different sizes from H to I hook, or J, excuse me, so from 5mm to 6mm, and then the I in between, and it worked equally well for all. And I think you could even go up to a larger hook size depending on how open and lacy and drapey you want it. But for this particular for this type of yarn, we'll just skip that word, that because it does have that bit of grip and bite, for me a metal, just a polished metal hook worked the best to give it that slip that it needed. I did try it, and now this is my Furls, my trusty Furls Streamline Metal. They also have the new Streamline Matte finish, which is kind of a sand-blasted, but it's smooth at the same time. But it's just gives a little extra grip for your more slippery yarns, so we'll get into that in a minute. And that worked pretty well too. It actually did, and I even tried a wooden hook. But of course the wooden hook is going to have the most grip, and there was a little too much of a drag as far as it still slid enough in a way on my hook, but it slowed me down, which that can be a good thing, especially with slippery yarns, because it gives you more control. But it did just slow my speed down a little too much, so I went back to my polished metal. And as far as now the center pull, I did find very easily on the fleeting, and this is just a mess because I made it the mess myself. But this, I could not find the center pull. I didn't want to mess it up, so I worked from the outside. That was fine. I did find, I forgot which one, but there was a knot just a couple feet into one of them. So not so happy about that, but so far I have not seen another in either cake, and this is a fair amount that I have worked up, so that was good. And then I think lastly on this one, because it's a roving and it has the wool in it and it does have the fuzz to it, it is a yarn that sticks to itself. So if you are new to crochet, this might not be one for you to try off the bat. It can make it a little frustrating. It does take a little more patience with that when you are pulling it out, and I just make sure that I'm pulling in the direction of where the slip knot pulls out, you know, so to speak. It gives it a bit more flow, slower, and I keep my angle pulled down, and I pull from closer to the base where the yarn is and pull down, and then I'll just bring my hand back up and do that again, so that way I have more of the tension close to it. where it gives a little bit more control. It's not too bad once in a while, and then if it does, I just give a little tug where it's hung up. Occasionally I might have to get a little pair of scissors or something and just snip in between where it connects without cutting into my yarn. And I like it. I think it's going to make a fun gift, and I really like how it's working up in this particular project. I think it would be really nice if you're working something that's on the bias on a diagonal too. That would show up the colors lovely. You have a lot of fun with this one, and depending on whether you can wear that or not on your skin itself, that is going to be up to you to figure out. But for a sweater, you know, and especially if it's a layering piece and you have something underneath it that it's a little up higher on your neck, you could probably get away with that. It's not super prickly where it's gonna, in my opinion, I don't think you're going to feel it. If it's a layering piece, it's not gonna poke through to the next layer. All right, next up, the Heathered Bamboo. This is a Michaels in-house brand, Loops and Threads. I absolutely fell in love with this yarn the moment I saw it early 2025. I believe that's when it came out this spring. And it is an acrylic and bamboo blend, and 53% acrylic, 47% bamboo. It's a medium weight. Number 4 recommends a 4.5 US 7, which is like a G plus type of hook. So a G is typically a 4 millimeter. So this is the half size between a G and an H. And I did try a G all the way up to a J hook, 6 millimeter, and that worked really well too. And I actually had a sample of this, and I don't know what I was thinking. I'd forgotten, I guess, that I was going to do a little demo on it, and oh, silly me, I took it all apart. So I'll just do some basic stitches here. How about if I just try a cluster stitch? And this is with the J and the polished metal. And it's slippery, it's a bit slick on that. You can see this yarn is quite splitty. It's loose. You've got multiple strands in here. Oh, I counted them. I forgot. It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, there's probably at least a dozen different little skinny, teeny tiny, like thread weight pieces. And again, another marled, where you have your base color, and in this case, the white that wraps around it. And that is on each strand. These come in a really nice range. You get 12 colors on that. And some, the white is more apparent. You can see it in the black color. It's really pretty in the silvery color. And then there's a beautiful butter yellow where it just blends together so well. I love that color too. It's just gorgeous. It's a soft sheen, more of a natural sheen, not a real high shine plasticky type of sheen at all. And it has a nice slip to it, but it's not super slippery like 100% bamboo because of the acrylic, which gives you a little more grip and a little more control. Oh yes, I did write down, There are 12 strands. They do separate easily, so there's definitely more potential for snagging. If you have pets, be careful with that. Or maybe you have a little jacket, just be careful not to snag your zipper on that too. But what's really nice about this blend is that you get the strength from the bamboo and the breathability and coolness of the bamboo, making it very soft, along with the acrylic, which gives it a little bit more stretch, because bamboo really doesn't have any And this will have a little bit, but there's just not much to it, so that's going to help keep its shape. So perhaps maybe a little less stretch allowance for that. Might have to use your own judgment. Do a really good sample swatch, enough to where you can see how much give it has to it, and shape retention as well. I don't think I told you, it's 204 yards, 5.2 ounces, and this does have some weight to it, a little bit of heft. So with, say, making a garment, I don't know how heavy that would be, but I do have something in mind come this next spring. Everything, if that works according to plan, that'll be great, but I do have enough to make a wearable with that. I mean, not that hats and things aren't wearable, but you know, like more for your body. But then working and trying with the different hooks. So that was my J hook in the polished metal, and I really like it in this more brushed matte type metal because there is more control. I'll just do some double crochets here, and just enough grip where it gives a little more control, slows down just enough where I don't have issues and get hung up on that. Now when I tried the wood, this is a more pointed hook compared to the Furl Streamline metals, which are more curved shape. So with a hook that's more curved, there's less likelihood of snagging, and you see, or splitting. And with this pointed hook, with right off the bat, there it goes again. It just right away splits the yarn. So with that being said, I would say if you are working with this, go with whatever type of hook that you have is a little more curved, a little more rounded tip, and that will help to prevent from snagging, because I had no problems at all, and you could see I was going along at just a pretty good speed there with the more curved furls tip. And this yarn is just so soft, and it does have that nice coolness to the touch. I just love it. And the color is called Marine. It's a marine blue, and this is made in India. Well, I just about forgot to mention the stitch definition on this one. I'm sorry about the original swatch, so I hope you'll take my word for it that it is great, just great. It stands out nicely, yet with the softness of the yarn is a wonderful combination. And I don't think I told you the macchiato, that is made in, where are you? Also India. Okay, so it looks like a new place from where Michaels is sourcing their yarn. All right, and last up, this is so gorgeous, is again the Michaels Loops and Threads, their soft ombre yarn. It is a polyester blend, 75% with 25% acrylic. And if you've been here with me for a while, you might know I am not a big polyester fan. I do have some garments and coats and things like that, but generally speaking, I really gravitate more towards the natural fibers or a blend. But once in a while, I will make an exception, and this is one of them. And I think all the colors are absolutely gorgeous. And they are such a range, beautiful ombre gradient that goes from darker to lighter and then back again. And again, this is another kind of a, I don't know, I don't think I want to call it marled, but there are several colors within each strand, and then they just start with the deeper tones, or however the cake is in the skein, and then it just gradiates out into the softer hues, where you get into the next colorway. Then You get a little bit of this color into the next, and then it goes lighter, and you still have a little bit of color beginning from to the first and the next, but they are just more faded and softer as you go. And they're all named by the color combinations that they are. So this one is simply plum pink white. And then it just works its way back. I pull on the inside. You can see it gradually, as a true ombre, works its way back into those deeper tones and back around again. It was not easy deciding on the colors. There's a beautiful blue one and a mix of blues that I really like. And in the soft ombre, there are also 12 colors. 12 beautiful, beautiful colors, and this is so soft. And I'm going to tell you what this reminds me a little bit of. Kirschner's, their willow yarns, they had one called Rise, and I still have a little bit of it, and it is very similar in the amount that you get and also the way that it is spun. So this one, 426 yards, 5.29 ounces, and this is a number 3 light. It recommends a G 4mm hook. I think that is a really pretty good one, good way to go. Really didn't test it out so much, but because it's so similar to this one, I can already tell it's going to work up pretty much the same, but I will do that in a minute with you. I'm going to see if I can find that. If there's a center pull. Yep. Okay, got a nice little blob there. Not too bad. I might have pulled a little bit deep. And I don't know what color this is showing up with you, but it does have a white base, but it has a very soft pink and almost a lilac hue to it. It's not like an optic or a stark white. It's just very soft, and in keeping with the name, soft ombre. And so the Willow Rise, so comparatively, this is 5 ounces, 475 yards. So this one is a little bit thinner. They're both 150 grams, but this one is a 58 cotton, 42 acrylic blend, which I really like a lot. But what's so similar is the way that they're constructed. They look so much the same to me. And they are very close in the same thickness. It's that kind of tubular, look like a knitted I-cord construction. And the only thing I can mention about sticking, this is one that will really probably stick to itself. We'll test that out in a minute. But it is sticking, like if you have any snags of pieces of cuticle, it snags and sticks to. I can just feel it, the little bits of fuzz sticking to the skin. That sounds kind of gross, but it is. And this did a little bit, but maybe because it's the all natural fiber, the cotton bamboo, it didn't as much as the acrylic poly. But I just think it's so beautiful, and I already have a project in mind and tested out for that. It's just a matter of time, as always, getting to it. All right, I have worked up a little sample, and then I'll do a little bit more here so you can see. And hopefully you can see the color now that's worked up a little bit. It does have some white in it, like I said, but really it's more of a very, very pastel-y leaning white with little was of the main colors throughout. And I worked with, this is a Furls, the wood one, their streamlined wood. This was a limited edition sage ombre hook, so you know what I'm working with, and with the very pointy tip. And I tell you, I think that this yarn would work with any type of hook, whether it's polished, matte metal, curved top, pointed top, and it glides like butter. It feels like butter in the hand. It's like working with a cloud. It is so light and so soft It just feels lovely. Now this soft ombre, because it is so soft, lends to wonderful drape. It does have decent stitch definition. It's not super crisp, but it doesn't get lost either. So I did 2 rows of double crochet, one where I did 3 puff stitches, 3 cluster stitches, and then 2 cross stitches at the end. And then on this row I worked back with just all single crochet. And now even getting into the top of my turning chain with the top of my chain 3, here's a good example where I made it intentionally just a little over tight to show you even getting in there. Sure, it takes a little finagling, a little fiddly there, but it slides and glides right in. Didn't split the stitch. So I slip stitch to the top, and now, oops, I got a little overexcited there, but almost split through that I-cord. Chain 3 and turn, and now I'm just going to work double crochets across. See, and when I try doing this with the heathered bamboo yarn, immediately split my yarn. Oh, and this is an H5mm hook, so I did not go down to the recommended 4mm, only because this is what I have right here in my hands. And yeah, that just glides really, really nicely. But let's just go ahead, and that's the wood hook too, the one, you know, that gives a little bit more grip. But this is so smooth and so sleek and so nicely done. So now this is an eye hook, so I'm going up even more, just to give you an idea. And this is the Furls Streamline Mat. That is gliding beautifully. Love that. Yes, this is a good one. This is a winner. I think would be really nice for just about anyone, any hook. Let's give it a try. Is it catching as I'm pulling this out? Up just a little bit on the very end where I made that turn, but a very gentle, I don't even want to call it a tug, but just a gentle pull. Comes right out. So yes, this is one, there we go again, that can catch on itself. So just have to go slowly. And with those that do, such as this yarn has a tendency, it's not overly so, well, yeah, maybe a little bit more than average. Oh, I would say similar to the Red Heart Unforgettable that catches on itself. So just go slow and be careful when you're working with a yarn that tends to stick on itself. Maybe pick a project that is easier, more simple stitches, and something that is or rather less likely to create mistakes that you would have to take out a lot. And that's what I do sometimes with yarn that might be a little more fiddly, or just have to pay a lot more closer attention to your counting and your stitches, that's all. So yeah, this is coming out pretty nicely. I mean, not too horribly bad, it's sticking, but sometimes these yarns, for me, like for example, this one that's really splitty, and if you absolutely cannot stand splitty yarns, then I would say it's probably not for you, but you can just try one and see how you like it. And again, that might really depend and make all the difference on switching the type of hook that you have and your gauge too, the type of stitches, and whether you're going smaller or larger on the hook size. I still have my receipt there. But sometimes, yes, these yarns can be more fiddly, but they can be really worth it for the end result. And so these two, I'll show you my finished projects when I have them all done. And then these I'll be doing a tutorial with in the future. Not right away because I have a couple of other things that have been on the back burner for way too long. I want to get to those and have tutorials for you also. So that is it for the review of this yarn today, and I will have another one, I hope, coming up. And let me know if this was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it and my take on it. I like trying new and interesting and different and unique yarns, and so it's just kind of fun to play. And I hope you will come back again next time, see what I have for you. And if you enjoyed this, I hope you give my channel a little bit of love and a thumbs up. All right, take good care, everyone, and I will see you again next time.